Welcome back into another episode of the Spaceman 2.0 Phoenix Truth Rising show. Here we're going to help you grow in the wisdom and knowledge of truth. And with that being said, we're going to get right back into creation, the sacred universe, part 6. Part 6, we're going to have angels and extraterrestrials talked about. And having said that, with the news with New Jersey and drones flying overhead and sights of UFO type of craft, if they're not looking like this, okay, that can coalesce from light into a physical manifestation from the fourth or fifth dimension into the third. Keep your eye out for these happening around, because our higher brothers and sisters are here to help us in this day and age, so that they've stopped a lot of nuclear war from taking place. A lot of missile silos have stopped functioning when these have been seen overhead. So with that being said, let us get on with the next part. So from the top of the page, during this period of transformation, each of you will have a variety of roles to play. Each of you will translate the life impulse into patterns appropriate to your own environment and express the impulse in your daily life. I can now blend my consciousness with the cells of yours in order to provide you with some of the more specific information that I relate. But I do this as little as possible, for you are gifted with free will choices upon which I must not tread. My primary function is to show you how to tap these systems of data retention and revelation for self. With tutoring and experience with my presence, or that of your spiritual teacher of truth, dear ones, beware, all spiritual beings do not bring truth. You will learn to release your definitions of who you think you are, open yourself up to the experience of a much greater reality than you presently believe possible, and return to a level of consciousness whereby you will be enabled to communicate with those such as me, us, not through cumbersome words and concepts, but directly through communion with all that is. Angels and extraterrestrials. What do you want? Do you want to know more about extraterrestrials? Do you want a definition of angels? What difference does it make? If we tell you that we are the same as you until you recognize who you are, then you have a basis upon which to found understanding. If we are but you in the distant past and distant future, then you must know who you are. If we but you as you were, would have been and still are, had you not fallen from your original state of grace, then you would recognize of us now or later in the proper sequence of the unfoldment. We exist in a parallel universe of non-form, and some in form not unlike your own, only differing in vibrational manifestation with higher knowledge. You can know that we who come have higher knowledge in our present manifestation. For we are here, and you have not yet gleaned that ability. This is also how you can know we come only in peace and love and not to harm, for we are higher learning, and with higher learning comes the truth of the falseness of physical actions. We live by the laws and within the laws of God and the creation. We who are in etheric form, non-form, are but a reflection of that which you would be had you not become associated with the materializing processes for whatever reason you might have chosen. Thus we act at this time as midwives in the birthing of you. Let us say simply that we are the angels as perceived as etheric beings, and or an enlightened brotherhood of more dense forms, come as messengers from the stars. But we are also reflections of your unity before and after matter. I am here to enter your consciousness, here to awaken you onto truth. As I blend with you now in this communication that is also communion, I can sense a forthcoming period of union, one which you also sense but cannot comprehend. I sense its strange and awesome realities. I feel much like an explorer in a vast and uncharted land, but with knowledge of all the pitfalls and rocks upon which a ship of passage might become grounded. You become my counterpart in the physical, and just as you become responsible for that which you push forth, so do I accept responsibility for the truth which is given unto you through me. This requires discipline on the part of both parties, that we can become one in intent and purpose without individual opinions of ego clouding and churning up the waters of clarity and truth projection. Are you aware of the uniqueness of physical reality? I watch as you ones drift hither and yon on a sea of efforting to ascend, meditate into another dimension, experience astral travels into conscious beingness, mutually exclusive terms, and therefore impossible in your state of experience, and doing all possible to separate from your chosen dimension by moving into another. You must come into understanding why you chose the present dimension and cease your efforting to escape the experience, for you miss the point entirely by so doing. I am met with anger and joy, pleasure and pain at my entry into your events and consciousness. We are lied about and construed in all manner of erroneous fashions. I recognize pain at the potential I see wasted and at my own commission to verbalize. But I sense pleasure at what I am experiencing through your senses. For though your sensory channels are in your exclusive dependence on them, your great limitation, they are also marvelous instruments of perception. They are truly your crowning virtue as well as your tragic flaw. This is my first exact experience in this exact manner with you ones in this particular sequence of manifestation. I witness time and space reduced to such intricate and beautiful patterns, and I rejoice when I see that you, too, can experience this wonderment. I experience in your presence by looking out through your eyes for a while and take in the colors and the room and the plants outside your window. I delight in the curious way you perceive light as illumination. I would love to explore your world as a being from mine in a playful and childlike fashion, not childishly, childlike. I can represent my beingness in this higher dimension, yet close to your own, and I can better understand how you are deceived, such a deep realm of awesome forces, that material plane. And yet, it is with rapture that I watch you grow beyond the material limitation, a joyous experience, for you represent that which can be done in and through mankind in his higher physical form, a guideline, if you will. You will, however, not be able to continue in this stage much longer, and therefore we must get on with the business at hand. Much that I am now seeing will not survive many more years of human ignorance. It is most important that we use this time to supply you with the information necessary. It is important that we restore you as the central control mechanism of your planet to a proper state of function, for it shall come to pass with or without your presence, for that is the gift of Creator onto a living planet. A day will come after all has been set to right again, when we can spend some time together just enjoying the wonders of creation. I delight in the expected opportunity to travel about with you, seeing what you would show me out of your eyes, hearing what you hear with your ears, feeling the touch of earth on the wonderful substance that is at once both sun and stone. I will rejoice in the sharing of my experience, through me, that you can have the joyous experience of touching that which is ethereal, even the silken skin of a ship, or the magic of a song played upon naught but the currents of air. But now, Chelas, there is work to be done. You have placed yourselves into bondage, and moreover, most of the most heinous bondage comes from that which you have had hidden from your consciousness. We must forge the conceptual tools that will give you freedom before we can show the keys unto the masses that all might be free. So let us not tarry in our work, lest a brother be lost to the path and fail to regain his footing. What of the other reality? Actually, the other reality is the only real reality. In your natural state of being, you have no sense of identity distinct from the Creator, except when you are engaged in a relationship. On this level of being, identity comes into focus only in the context of a relationship with some other aspect of being that has become objectified, much as my identity as an angelic messenger comes into being through my relationship with you, albeit through this rooting utilized at present. When such a relationship is not taking place, that particular expression of you simply does not exist. You float effortlessly in the potential of God. You are not annihilated, but all definitions of you are, and you are released from their restraining influence, allowed to expand into a state of love and perfection. By and by, if it would happen that you are needed for a particular function, you will still be there, for your form identity is a specific cell in a specific organ of a larger being. Remember that the fact of quantum physics, the macro is different from the micro, while the micro is sameness in every detail. When the next energizing impulse comes, it also brings your definition and instruction. You come into the necessary degree of focus for whatever is required. Throughout the course of your existence, you continuously oscillate like the wave function that you essentially are, in and out of focus, in and out of definition, always moving back and forth like the pendulum on a clock or the heart of an atom, out of the unity of being with God into a finite expression of God's infinite potential, and then back into unity once more, back and forth, back and forth. This is the natural rhythm of your existence, just as it is mine. It is the song of God, the rhythm of life itself. When service calls. Whenever the divine impulse calls upon your services and brings you into form, you encounter other beings of infinite variety on errands and excursions in worlds of love and light that are impossible to describe. As this happens, you experience for the duration of your contact both an identity and a linear time world, but in the course of your encounter, you are still aware of your unity with the Creator. You do not lose the certainty of your oneness with God. You are aware of your form identity and of the motion of time, yet you oscillate faster than the speed of light back and forth between your pre-manifest state and your species role form. This is nothing more or less than what every atom of physical creation is doing all the time. Before the fall, if you will, you had the ability to shift the center of your awareness from identity to identity, from form to metaform at will. You were free, as it were,